Hello Leo, Jessica here with Cardinal Signs. I hope that you're doing well and that you've enjoyed September so far. So for this reading, we're going to start off with general messages using the Osho Zen Tarot. Then we're going to move on. We'll take a look into the crystal and see if there's any other information that you need to know for the second half of September. And then we'll pull a few cards for love life. So let's start off here. We want general messages and energies for Leo for the second half of September. Messages and energies for Leo for the second half of September. What does Leo need to know? That will be our overall energy. Okay. So this is the Hierophant, nothingness. Now we have participation, which is the Four of Wands. We have the Ace of Swords, which is consciousness. We have the Ten of Swords, which is rebirth. And we have the Eight of Swords, guilt. Lots of swords here. Okay, so the overall energy, nothingness. This can be an emphasis on following the rules, following the way that is acceptable to society. Not that it's seen in a bad way, it's just coming up that perhaps you want to follow the norm or kind of act within, the socially acceptable realm. Now, this can also be about traditional things, traditional institutions, that kind of thing. But oftentimes in this deck, the way that I interpret this card of nothingness, as you can see, this is basically a blank canvas. It's just black, this card. So I see this as being kind of a freedom to create and make what you will of the next 2 weeks. It's almost like nothing is set in stone in a big way. So that's always the case with readings. A lot of things can change, but especially with you right now, it's like you have a lot of freedom and a lot of wiggle room. So if something is presented to you in your life that you are not content with, you have the ability to change that and make that change happen fairly naturally and easily. Now we've got the Four of Wands, participation paired with consciousness. This is indicating that group work, whether this is within the workplace or perhaps with family or friends, but group work and teamwork is being emphasized for you this next 2 weeks here, bringing us up to the end of September. This generally is indicating that it will go quite smoothly, not too many issues. It's paired with consciousness, which is showing that there's going to be a lot of productive work being done. It's going to be quite successful. I think there will be a lot of headway made. If you are working as a team, there's going to be a lot of gains being made here in whatever project it is that you are trying to work towards. There is a lot of inspiration coming in as well. This can be divine inspiration, and this can also be the inspiration that you gather simply by bouncing ideas off of each other and being very open-minded. This consciousness card is about remaining very open to different ideas and very receptive as well. On the flip side, I am getting a vibe of independence, which is a good thing, but I just want to make sure that it's not going to upset the dynamic within this team that you're working with. This could be you coming in and having ideas that are perhaps divergent from the rest of the group, or this could be someone else that you're working with who is exhibiting that kind of energy, where maybe they're trying to go off on a tangent and it's not in keeping with what the rest of the group has a consensus for. So that's something to keep an eye on. Overall, I think that this is going to be a fairly straightforward energy, navigating this teamwork and working together with these people. So just keep an eye on that possibility there of maybe someone kind of going off on their own and maybe causing a little bit of disruption. Now, the next pairing that we have here is a little bit more troublesome, but let's talk through it and see what comes up. So we have the Ten of Swords here, rebirth, which I often think of as like a mini death. And then we have guilt. We have the Eight of Swords, which can also be feeling trapped as well. So we can see here with the rebirth card that you are actually casting off an old skin, perhaps an old set of beliefs or an old set of circumstances that have kind of been stagnant and basically have seen their day. And it's time now for you to accept in something that's new and fresh. This card is indicating that that process is perhaps a little bit painful for you. It might not be coming quite as naturally as one would hope. This might be something that you kind of regret having to let go, or maybe you're guilty about having to let something or someone go. And that's why it's kind of slowing you down and holding you back and causing you more pain and suffering than one would like to see. Overall, this situation, the Ten of Swords, it is a beneficial project or beneficial process for you in the long run. While you're in the thick of it, it can seem daunting. It can seem quite dreadful and really challenging energy to navigate. And this is emphasized by having this guilt card beside it. So prepare yourself. You may already be going through something where you feel like you need to let something behind, and you're probably feeling compelled to leave it behind, but it doesn't make it any easier, and you're having a hard time letting it go. These can actually be the energies that a person or a group of people are projecting towards you, where they are making you feel guilty. Maybe they are saying things to you that are causing you to have a hard time taking the actions that you need to in order to move forward and free yourself from the situation that is not allowing you to transform into the better version of yourself that's waiting not too far off into the future. So just be aware of that. These are the kind of energies that you may be faced with in the next 2 weeks, and it's always easier if we have a heads up and know what we're dealing with. Having looked at these cards and now seeing the nothingness, I mean, this is a black card. There may be a little bit of depression going on. Like a personal darkness, feeling very heavy, feeling very down. With that in mind, and taking a fresh look at these two cards over here that first came out, there is a wonderful support system around you. You have these people, this group that you can rely on, and they are more than happy to help you and to contribute in whatever way they can to ease your transition and help you heal and transform yourself and overcome these obstacles that you're facing. So don't be afraid to ask for help or to receive the help that is being offered to you from the people around you who genuinely care about your well-being. Some of you may be inclined to keep this quiet to try to do this very independently, do it all by yourself. And perhaps you feel that this is the better way. But the way that it's being shown here, it definitely feels like you will have a much easier time if you even confide in one person or ask for guidance or support from one person. It doesn't have to be that you tell everybody what you're going through, but if you do this as a team, then it'll be a lot easier for you to navigate through these energies a little more easily and successfully. So we'll put these off to the side, and I'm going to just take a look and see if anything else comes up for you, Leo, using the crystal. Okay, so additional messages of guidance for Leo. I'm seeing a flag that's basically been re-erected. So it's like you're pulling the strings and raising that flag and letting it fly very proudly once more. So it's possible that some of you have been going through a period of difficulty, and it's almost a period of mourning, where you're mourning the loss of something. This could be someone. This could be the loss of a great many number of things. It's going to be different for everybody. But I am seeing you successfully coming through that transition and coming to a place where you are able to get back to normal, stand up really tall and proud, and fly your flag at full mast once more. The color blue is coming in here, and it's interesting because it's actually you're being guided to use blue foods for healing. So these will be like berries that are blue, and even using, blue stones, around you can be very helpful. But in particular, if you have blue, plates or bowls or something that you can incorporate in your meals, it's like the color blue needs to be incorporated into your eating habits right now, and somehow that's going to contribute to your healing. Now, blue, of course, is a very important color that nourishes our throat chakra. Because we have these swords here, and the swords are about communication, and we're having struggle with communication, perhaps. Perhaps we're not able to freely express our truth, and as a result, we have felt suppressed. And maybe we're struggling to allow ourselves to be heard, or to not swallow what it is that we want to say because we feel guilty about it, to overcome that feeling of guilt and just say it. Because for some of you, it's contributing actually to some physical ailment. And the color blue is really important. And as I said, if you can incorporate some blue foods, which there aren't a lot, berries are coming to mind, but that will be important for the healing process. If that resonates with you, any kind of throat issues, or even moving into the heart, that area, if that's being affected for you. Now I'm going to move on here. We'll take a look at love and romance for you, Leo. Love and romance for Leo for the second half of September. Messages of love and romance for Leo. Okay. Now these cards are for your energy, for love life. We have the 5 of Cups, we have the 6 of Swords, and we have the 7 of Cups. Now, your partner or potential partner, the person that you're thinking about as you're watching this, their overall energy, they have the High Priestess, the 9 of Pentacles, and they have the 8 of Swords as well. So let's see here. 5 of Cups. This is talking about consciously letting go of something. You know, like sending something back with love, basically. This can also indicate that you are perhaps focusing on the hardships, focusing on the negativity within a situation, within a relationship, perhaps, or within the circumstances that you find yourself in. However, there's indication here that if we shift our focus to something that is more positive, we will find that there is actually a lot more positive things than there are negative. So this is a case of if we focus on one thing, it becomes a lot bigger, especially when it's a negative thing, a lot bigger in magnitude than what it really is. We can kind of blow it out of proportion. So just be careful with that. Now we have the 6 of Swords, which is a wonderful healing energy, and I'm really happy that you have this beautiful healing coming in for you. This is you moving from a place that was fairly disruptive and chaotic to a time that is a lot more peaceful and serene. And there is healing in this transition process. So this is really nice. Things are settling down, calming down within your love life. Now, 7 of Cups. It's possible that things were chaotic because you have so much on your plate. If you are a Leo who's dating, maybe you had a lot of different dating options. If you're in a more committed relationship, maybe you just had so much on your plate, you know, it was busy, you know, we were coming out of summer now, maybe our weekends were packed, we didn't get to spend a lot of downtime, but it looks like those opportunities are coming your way. And it also looks like you're going to be able to start dreaming again. There's a sense of being able to kind of have your fantasies play out for you in a really kind of nice, gentle way. Now your partner is coming in here as the High Priestess, and they also have the 9 of Pentacles and the 8 of Swords. So immediately I was getting a very independent vibe from your partner or potential partner. They probably need a lot of personal freedom. They need a lot of space. They're quite a free bird, basically. They are likely very creative individuals, and part of their creative process likely involves kind of shutting themselves away in order to get their creative juices flowing, or perhaps to just kind of rejuvenate themselves. This can be difficult if you're the type of Leo that likes to spend a lot of time with your partner. It can be a little bit more challenging if your partner is very independent. Now your partner is going through a little bit of a struggle here. They have the 8 of Swords, and I think they're dealing with, as I said, I'm getting a lot of creativity. Like, creativity is very important to your partner or potential partner, and it's almost like they're dealing with some kind of creative block, and it's really disturbing them and upsetting them. And that's probably spilling over onto you and causing a little bit of tension maybe between the two of you. I think your partner coming in here with a very strong High Priestess is going to be able to free themselves from that blockage of feeling kind of trapped and stagnant. But they do need that space, that personal space, in order to be able to accomplish that. So honor that need within your partner, that need for them to kind of go off and do their own thing and figure out this thing that they're kind of struggling with right now. And like I said, things are going to go a lot more smoothly, and the two of you are going to be back to dreaming together again about where it is that you want to go, kind of looking into the future, starry-eyed together once more, not too distant into the future. So it doesn't look like it's an overly troubling situation. They're just little things, basically. Not too much to worry about here, Leo. So I hope that this reading was helpful for you, and I hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and if you would like a personal reading with me, you can find my email in the description box below. So I will see you again in October for your next 2-week forecast. Until then, take care of yourself.